Before I ever stepped foot in a drift car, there was one brand that captured my heart. And today I get to jump back behind the steering wheel of one, and it's one of their finest examples. It's this. Yep. I'm jumping behind the wheel of the FD2 Type R, and I cannot wait to take you guys with me. So today's video is going to be my experience with the Type R. I'm going to give you a little bit of information just so you guys are kind of aware of what this thing is, what they're capable of, and why they are so good. And I think a lot of people that are Honda people consider this the last true Type R. And it's one we never got. These are Japan only. So Honda Japan really did save their best for themselves. But it's no problem at all because thankfully we're not America and we only have 3-year import laws. So we can have these cars as they're still relatively new. As you can see, it's a 2007 plate, this one. So we're going to have a lot of fun. I want to go over the exterior really quick as well. So this is what we got sold, the hybrid, whereas this is not a hybrid. Let me show you what's hiding underneath this bonnet. So under this very lightweight bonnet, you have the legendary K20A. This engine in this chassis produces 222 horsepower at 8,000 RPM. Now, the one thing that I always hear about Hondas from people that don't understand how to drive Hondas is, oh, they're slow, oh, they're so slow. And when you hear somebody saying that, all you have to understand is they don't know how to handle a car at high RPM. It's a beautiful thing to hear because they think they're onto something and being really nasty, but you can kind of have a little laugh because when these are on it, they are unmatched. They are so, so good. And the K20A has become massively popular in the car world for swaps. People put these in everything, right? So they are an amazing bit of kit. But in this one, from the standard, is even a little bit more special because attached to this is also a very special gearbox. Now they come with a close ratio 6-speed with a helicoil LSD from standard in a saloon car. Now I want to have a little look around the car, just show you some of the design cues and just embrace having the car for the time I have it. We've got a beautiful front lip that separates these from the hybrid, along with the side skirts and the big wing that we'll have a look at in a minute. I love the shape of the headlights. I love the big fat grille in the middle that isn't ginormous. It's just, in my opinion, it's all perfectly, what's the word here? Proportion wise, I think it all just works. I love it. And it comes as standard with these 18-inch wheels with the Brembo brakes too. Amazing. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. We've got the Mugen wind deflectors here, the Mugen wind deflectors up there, and as we come around the back, we've got the big Type R spoiler and a nice exhaust there. That is a custom exhaust by Solid Fab, and voila, that is the back end. I think it looks absolutely awesome, and one of my favorite things about this is that it can still be subtle while being loud. It can still fit in while standing out, which is a lovely feature of these things. As we jump onto the inside, we have the Honda in-factory made bucket seats that are reclinable as well, as you can see there. They are a very comfortable seat. We've got the Honda steering wheel there as well with no cruise control or nothing on it. And as we go around, we've got the dials here, a hybrid shifter just there, which is a very nice addition for the gear changes. Up there is the speedo, and then there is the rev counter. It's all very, very simple and very, very nice. And not just that, with this, you get a massive boot. Let me find the key, I'll show you that. Bosh, massive boot. So if you're a golfer like me, you can fit your golf clubs in there, or your video stand. Excellent. As you can see up on the digital dash, you've got your miles an hour counter in the middle, fuel on the right, but on the left there's a little IV tech. There's a little IV tech thing just there. What that does is it acts as a shift light when you're in VTEC, and it will like have little lights that like all the way up to where it flashes to say, yo, we're VTEC and baby, let's change gear right now. It's awesome. I really like that, even though I kind of wish the dash was all still like analog like this, but that's just one little thing that isn't my favorite part of the car. Now, it's all well and good me talking and talking and talking, but really with the Type R, you have to drive these things. They are just as analog as it comes when it comes to a driving experience still, I think. And I absolutely love them, and I think we should just head out right now onto the road, and I'll chat some stuff about the car while we're out, because I just love them so much. I just want to go and drive this before I have to give it back. What I mentioned earlier when I was talking about the car at the unit was that this was a Japan only car, and from how I understand, from my humble understandings of how this works, is that Honda Japan are the big daddy company, right? And then they have subdivisions, separate companies. So they'll have Honda Europe, Honda UK, Honda USA, etc., etc. Then the heads of said sub-companies sit with Honda Japan, and Honda Japan lay out the cars that they can buy for their areas, right? That's what I understand. Now, what always bums me out, and I'm not to slag off the FD2, no, the FN2, because I actually had an FN1 as a daily car, and I liked it. I thought it was a good car. But when you look over the fence and you see your neighbours got better grass than you, and you're like, well, they've got better furniture than me. So what's going on over there? Why can't I have that? Oh, sorry, you're not allowed. Honda UK decided to bring in the FN2 because it thought the audience, obviously of Europe, would, or Honda Europe, or whichever one it was. I think it was probably Honda UK. I'm going to blame them anyway, because they were very rude to me once. I think they chose the FN2 for our market, thinking that they knew better than the market. Japan got the K20A, it got the LSD gearbox, it got a lot of extra fantastic stuff, whereas we got the FN2 that had that awful rear suspension, whereas this doesn't. This has a proper rear suspension that I'll talk about a little bit later, and it's just a far superior car. Now, this car itself, I really like it. One of the main things I really like about this is that you can use it as a normal car too. As you can see, I'm talking to you now. There's very, very minimal exhaust drone, even with a big fat exhaust on it from Solid Fab. It drives very comfortably. The shifter is so nice to shift gears, just driving it as a car. It's a real shame that these weren't offered to us as an experience for Honda, and I still believe maybe the Type R wouldn't have died off like it did and had to become what it is now if we'd have got this one. I also mentioned that a lot of people think this is the last true Type R, and I should expand on that, because the newest Type R, I think it's the FL8, I believe that's what the chassis code is for that, is an amazing vehicle. But what made most people fall in love with the Hondas was the inline NA 4-cylinder engine. That has always been the staple of the Type R. No turbos, no superchargers. The Type R just needed to be driven properly. With the right setup on it, these things are absolutely epic. But the new ones come with a turbo, and I've been in one. I thought it was very fast, and I drove the FK8 as well, I believe it was called, or whatever the hatchback turbo one was. I drove one of them as well, and I thought it was very fast. But being honest, if you take all the badges off of it, blindfold me, and put me in a Golf R and that Type R, I don't think I could have told you the difference. Whereas if you go back in time to 2008, you put me in a Golf GTI or a Golf R32 and this Type R, you can tell the difference, because the car had spirit. It had its own unique persona, and you just don't get that out of modern cars. And I think that's why so many of us are drawn to this era of car. And I still firmly believe this was one of the best cars that England never got, and it's a real shame. I just joined the dual carriageway and I wasn't filming. I just ripped it on. There's something so good about just a fast, high revving cylinder. Like, there's just nothing that puts a smile on my face like it. I absolutely adore the K20 engine by Honda. That on the motorway, it feels fine. The best thing about the Type R is when you're not in VTEC, when you fall out of VTEC, you're still getting good fuel economy, and it can act like a family car or a good normal daily driver car. But when you get to shift it down, get it into VTEC, it turns into a completely new machine, and it's just absolute chaos. And you can just wring its neck. I didn't even get to hit the limiter there because obviously there's a car in front of me, but this thing is just so good. Oh, I love this gearbox. I love it so much. It's so good. I literally love it so much. Oh, God. Why, Honda, did you not give us this car? So, for all you fuel aficionados out there, I just filled it up with V-Power. It had the fuel light on, and I spent 65 odd pounds, I think it was. I'm going to overlay on the screen now. So that's for about a full tank. I don't know how many miles you get to a tank. That can be for you to Google. But now we've got the fuel, it's time to go and enjoy this thing. So let's head to the Twisties. I got a little bit lost and then a bit carried away, and then I ran out of fuel. So we've just filled it up with Shell, V-Power, baby. And now let's go hit some Twisties, because I just want to go and drive this thing. I want to go, well, I have been driving it. I just wasn't filming it. But I'm going to, you know what I mean. We have finally made it to the Twisties. These are some of my favourite little roads that are local. I love it round here. We're just gonna let the FD2 loose, do its thing, and see what it's got. The roads are a little bit wet, so we need to be a bit careful. But I will talk you through what I have found out from my time with it today already. Oh. When you get into the upper revs, into the VTEC on this car, it is absolutely insane. Oh, it's just so good. You really do have to wring the neck of this thing to get the most out of it, but it just feels so good to do. Oh my God. So what I've noticed today from driving the car is the diff is amazing, and this is a standard diff. It really does pull you into the corner and shoot you out. I love this gearbox. It is freaking awesome. The engine is just perfect. I love the K20 motor. Could do with a little bit more torque, as we always say, but it is just superb. Absolutely superb. Now this car is actually on Öhlins suspension, so it isn't on a standard suspension setup, so it has had a slight upgrade along with the solid fab exhaust, but for the most part it's relatively standard and gives a very good example of what you would get if you wanted one. Man, I love this car. I forgot how fantastic Hondas of this generation are, and people call these the golden generation. To me, that's true. There's 5 true Type Rs in my opinion, and when I say true Type R, I mean Honda really showing what they're capable of. You've obviously got the King, the NSX Type R, out of reach for so many of us now with the absolutely colossal prices. You've got the EK9, which we never got here once again, but there have been plenty imported. Sorry, this is such a great bit of road. I love it. Oh, come on! And we're about to get stuck behind a Mark V Astra. What a surprise. Has there been a more depressing car ever built than a Mark V Astra? I don't know. I think not. What was I saying? Yeah, EK9, which we obviously didn't get, but there are plenty full here. But they're very, very expensive now. Then, obviously, the DC2, the king of the front-wheel drives. I still have never owned a DC2. I've never really spent much time with a DC2. In fact, the most time I've spent behind the wheel of a DC2 was a Phoenix yellow one with yellow Recaros. How crazy is that? But they are also one of my favourite cars ever made. And then comes the DC5. a car I have had lots of experience with. I've owned 3. Most of my 20s was spent in DC5s up until I got that little taste of drifting, and I knew I had to get rid of the DC5 to learn a new skill. But this, the FD2, is the final on that list, and it is one of the finest road cars Honda have made with the Type R badge. It came 25% more rigidly strong, the chassis itself, than the DC5, and the DC5 was already excellent. So this thing really is an absolute masterpiece of a front-wheel drive car that can do everything. It can be your family car, it can be your weekend car, it can be your race car, your track car. I love the FD2 Type R, and I don't know really if there's much more for me to say. What you need to do, if you want to hear more about this, is hit subscribe and wait for the next 2 videos, because I'm going to go over the 5 major things I love and the 5 major things that I do not love. So make sure you stay tuned to that, and I'm going to pinpoint that out. But for now, I'm going to take one more drive back to mine and hoon it and just enjoy this thing, because it's freaking excellent. It is really is an excellent car. It's everything that I want in a road car. I just couldn't put the dog in the boot. That's the only downside. God damn, I love this thing. Honda Japan got it so right with this car, and I really hope you've enjoyed the video on it. I think while we're still building the cars, I need little breaks like this just to get behind the wheel and go and drive cars and tell you how I feel, but in a fun and engaging way. So let me know if I've done that in this episode. In the next 2 videos, you're going to see everything I love and everything I hate, like I said. So make sure you hit subscribe and ring that little bell so you get notified when the videos go live. I can't wait to get stuck into them now. Take it easy, guys, and I hope you had a great Easter. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!